Hey everybody, Texas Stroker here. Lance's Performance Shop, Lone Star, Mopars.com. It's about 5:30 Saturday afternoon, 82, barely windy, fantastic day, and this is going to be an expedited video. I've got content that would basically take us through Halloween. If I were to die and somebody managed my channel, you'd still be entertained for a little while. But this stuff right here is something that you're kind of going to want to get in on, and it'll be releasing on Wednesday for Wiha Wednesday, and there'll be a follow-up to it. But for all intents and purposes, we need to get going with it, and what I'm going to throw down is right here. It's going to be like a twofold little story for you. So this is not the item that we're going to review, but this is the item that let me know that the item that I bought was going to be something I would be okay with. So this is just a 12-piece, I believe, wrench set from Wiha. It was bought long ago. I don't remember it was from Wiha or KC Tool. It was right when they sort of got into this stuff. So in this case, it's a metric wrench set. It is 8 to 19 with no skips. It's 72 tooth, 5-degree swing arc, 15-degree offset. Stamped the kind of unsung hero of this set, aside from being very comprehensive for garden variety at-home stuff. I mean, if you're jumping up doing crazy huge sizes, you kind of know your limitations and what sizes you would be working with. For general automotive, general household stuff, 8 to 19, that's pretty solid right there. So what I think is underappreciated in this is actually the rack. We've had this a couple years now, and these are really kind of one of my only metric ratcheting wrench sets. We've got a couple in for testing, you know, like 13mm switch unswitched, the jokers and stuff, but this is like the set, right? So if you watch the Ram Revival or any stuff like that, you've probably seen me using these. The thing I like about this, and the reason that I keep it in this case, a lot of times you get like a wrench rack, but it sucks. This is actually really good. Case in point, like, it's rubber, so it's not going to mar the finish on your wrenches. They still look really good. This is the 13. It doesn't look as good because it gets used more. But as you can see, I mean, several years old. Would you love a switch? Yes. Do you want to pay for a switch? Probably not, you know, for the average person. But this is something I would have gotten it pretty reasonable. We probably bought it on sale. Things have changed. Prices have gone up. This exact set right now would run you $241. And that's actually not a bad price. If the wrench rack isn't your thing, I believe these would be available in a foam tray as well. That's something when we purchased this, Wiha wasn't offering just yet. But what I like about this, it holds the wrenches really well. It's held up beautifully. You think, oh, that plastic's not going to last. Like I said, this has a couple of years on it now at this point. So why am I telling you about that? Well, if you are subscribed, this isn't like super secret insider, special person type of a deal. If you subscribe to their newsletter, you also knew about this, and hopefully some of you cashed in on it, because not everything is still available. So what happened? It was March 1st. I remember the day quite well. And, in part because I just checked my email prior to filming this to know exactly when it was. But they sent out an email, and they were putting their chrome wrenches, which would be what you see here, on like clearance. Not barely discounted, you know, let's see if we can move some of these at 5-10% off. Not like, you know, Wiha big deal, you know, 30 to 40% off. I'm talking 90%. And if you're thinking like, whoa, you know, what's wrong? 90%, they're like giving them away. Well, that's what I thought. And I went, you know, and I took the bait, took the links, kind of investigated what they had. And let me just go ahead and move into phase 2 here. Oh boy, this is a big one. We're gonna should have totally picked up these metrics real quick so I don't crush them under the weight of what is in this box. So there it is. I have not opened this, I haven't done anything with it, but this is what we brought in. And if you're thinking like, hey, yeah, that's a good size box there, buddy, what's going on? Well, I cashed in, man. They had a massive wrench set available, 20-piece SAE. And if you're thinking like, oh, you know, 20-piece SAE, don't you have ratcheting wrenches and SAE? Yeah, we do. We've got the SKX frames and stuff. This is 20 pieces, okay? And it's probably the most comprehensive ratcheting wrench set I have ever seen. Why do I say that? Well, we go from quarter all the way up to 1.5 inches. That's right, 1.500, 0.250 to 1.500. So just the gauntlet is here. If you're dealing with delicate electronics and stuff, well, might need something smaller, but you're probably not using a ratcheting wrench that size. But for household stuff, automotive, diesel trucks, light duty diesel trucks, Cummins, Power Joke, whatever. But you're going to be hard pressed to find something in that range. Not to say you can't find the big wrenches, but they're usually like standalone or like a 4 or 5 piece set of the giant sizes, But 1/4 to 1.5 inches. And if you're thinking like, oh, good Lord, that must cost like $1,500, something crazy like that. Well, if you would have bought this a couple days ago, like in February or something, you'd be looking at $1,720, or I'm sorry, you'd be looking at even more than that. $1,720 is what I saved. And if you're thinking like, well, what did you pay? Wait, what did this guy say? 90% off? Well, that's a pretty good deal, right? Well, yeah, $189 for 20 ratcheting wrenches. That's less. Okay, you do the simple math. 20 times 10 is 200. We didn't pay $10 per wrench here. That's insane. Especially given the sizes. If this was like 8 quarters and 9 3/8 and whatever to make the 20 pieces, sure, it might check out okay, but this was a steal of the like, I've not seen a deal this good in a long time. And sadly, this is gone. This is like no longer available. However, the reason I'm making this video is so you will know that there are 2 sets remaining at the same discounted price. So if I come in here and I bring this back, all right, I'm going to have links. I'm making nothing off the links. I'm doing this once again solely for your convenience and benefit. In this case, massive financial benefit. This is 8 to 19. Like I said, super great, comprehensive for most things at home, automotive, what have you, hobbies. You're pretty well covered with 8 to 19. Maybe you need a 7 or a 6. Maybe you wish you had something slightly bigger. If it's bigger that you want, Wiha has part number 30386. It's a 13-piece metric wrench set. It's going to run from 18 all the way to 30 with no skips. So do you have a 20? Yes. You have 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. No skips, 18 to 30. Some of you might be like, oh, I wish I had a 32 and a 36. I get it. I'm just telling you what the set has. All right. And the price point for said set, $140. Now, if you start thinking about the size of some of those 18 to 30 millimeter ratcheting wrenches and the fact that they're ratcheting, $139 would be like a good buy for a standard combination wrench, non-ratcheting. $140 for 13-piece large metric ratcheting wrenches is a steal, all right? So I'm kind of tempted by it. We'd only be duping the 18 and the 19, which I guess there's worse things we could do. The 19, you could throw one over for 3/4. 18 is like, it's slightly bigger than 13/16, right? Somewhere in there, one side of 13/16, if I'm not mistaken. Who knows? But what you would be able to do there is get big ratcheting wrenches for $140. And if you think, hey, I'm like you, I do old school stuff, or work is all SAE from back in the day, I wish they had something like that in the bigger sizes. Well, that's where you're going to come in with part number 30384. It's going to set you back $159, a little bit spendier, $20 more than the metrics, but you're saving $1,426. That's a great number to save, 426 Hemi. But you would be getting essentially 13/16 to 1.5 inches. The reason that's a big deal, what do I always complain about with ratcheting wrench sets? Where they stop. The SKX frames, I would have loved to have, 15/16. Why? Because I deal a lot with 5/8 hardware. They don't make one. They have their sets, but they don't sell a standalone 15/16. It's bizarre. If you have the stereotypical, sort of even an 7, 8, 10, 12 piece wrench set, you're probably going and stopping somewhere around 3/4, 7/8. Maybe, like my Capri set does go all the way to 1 inch. But this one would run you 13/16 to 1.5 inches. Now, you start getting into 1.5 inch wrenches and you're spending a lot of money. You're getting the entire 10-piece set for $159. Just to kind of give you an idea here, The 13/16, that would be your baseline wrench there. If you were to buy that, standard pricing in and of itself, $80.84. 7/8, which you might use more frequently, like 1/2-inch flare nuts and stuff, $80.84 as well. 15/16, it's just a huge deal to me. Anyone that uses 5/8 hardware all the time like I do, you're going to be very familiar with 15/16 and have the same complaints I do. That wrench, standalone, you would be looking at $106.83. To recap, you're getting the entire 10-piece set for $160. If we come in 1 1/8, why is that one important? Well, if you use 3/4 bolts, right, you're going to need 1 1/8. That'll be $158.68. That is basically the same price as the 10-piece set. Okay, 1 1/4. Why is that one important? If you're using 3/4 hardware and you get into like the heavy hex sizes, that would kind of cover you in that base. You'd need the 1 1/8 and the 1 1/4. $187.54. If you were to buy that standalone, you could have gotten the 10-piece set in and of itself. And just in case you're curious, the biggest wrench included, the 1.5 inch, the 1.500, the big honker, the weapon, the zombie survival tool, $346.24. So if you were to go to Wiha right now, back in February before this sale, and 2 months down the road, it's probably going to go up a little bit. Everything does. $346.24. You could get the jumbo 13-piece metric 18-30 and the jumbo 10-piece SAE and come out cheaper than just buying the 1.5 inch. So that's why we've not opened anything. That's why I'm still talking here. I'm trying to get you in on the deal. This 20-piece in this box, that deal is gone. You can technically, and where you would really luck out is if you already had this set in SAE. You would probably duplicate a size or two like I would if I went with the big metric set, but expanding that all the way to 1.5 inch for $160 is nuts. Same thing here with the metrics. If you've got the VR ratcheting wrenches or whatever you have, if you stop, maybe, you know, you're efficient, German efficiency, you got, you know, your 10, 13, 17, 19, and you're like, man, I wish I had a few more. You can pocket select these and then jump 18 to 30. Okay, and pick that up for $140. So those are still stupid good buys. They are massively discounted, and the reason I'm telling you this, there are under 100 of each set left. Now this is going to bring us to another thing that I need to address right now. You're sitting here and you're thinking like, okay, you've had these for a while, you've been happy with them, the rack is great, you got a great deal, like no one can deny. 20-piece ratcheting wrench set that we got for $189 is just incredible. I mean, that's like one of those like super unbelievable deals. All right, what I want to know right now is if any of you jumped on this as well. But where I'm going with this is a lot of you are sitting there and you're thinking like, hey, you know, that 18 to 30 interests me, or I kind of like those big SAEs and ratcheting. That's a great deal. I'll never find something priced that well again. A lot of you won't use those big sizes frequently, but when you do, you would have them and they would be ratcheting. You're probably sitting here thinking like, man, you know, I might pull the trigger on that. My apologies for the million text messages. It only happens when I record. But where I want to take this is your concerns, because you're sitting there and you're like 90% off. Stupid low price, like these must be junk. They must just be, they're going to quit making these and I'll never get it warranted. I'm going to go get that 1.5 inch or the 1.25 inch out on my big heavy 3/4 stuff and I'm going to break it and I'm just going to be stuck with it. No way, I'm not cashing in on that. Here's the deal. The reason, and I had the same concern, like I legitimately did. This was such a good deal. I bought them. And then I was sitting there and I was thinking like, man, you know, I wonder why. Why are they doing this? And spring break, I was out of town. I actually had to put in a shipping delay request on these. And then they came in, you know, and I was like, you know, I'm going to make that video. At the time, I didn't realize I was going to expedite it. But I'm expediting it because when we release this, Wiha is going to come in and they're going to say, hey, you know, boom, these are available. Less than 100, go. You know? But my question was, I hit Andrew up, and the story I got back, this was the only thing I could figure out, okay? If you take a look at these, if you are into old school Americana, you know, or SK or Snap-on or whatever, typical American stuff, you're going to have the heavy chrome plating, the mirror finish, right? That's what you have on these. What Wiha has done is they've sort of gone more traditional old school German or industrial, whatever you want to call it. And what that is and what I'm referencing is instead of this being like a mirror polish finish on the chrome, it's going to be a matte chrome. So come back and think of the Stavillas, think of the Gadors, think of the Wiha sockets and ratchets, right? That's what they're doing. They're sort of going like more traditional. And that is it. That's the only difference. If you were to buy this set right now, you can get it for, I believe, $200.41, something like that. It would be the same rack, same 8 to 19, same ratcheting mechanism. The only difference where this is the mirror polish chrome, that would be the matte chrome. So I, again, personally kind of prefer matte chrome. It's sort of, I do have a soft spot like the Proto Challengers at work. Those are some of my favorite wrenches ever, and they're, of course, high luster chrome. Still look good to this day. But it's a deal, if I had to pick, I'd probably go matte chrome. But truth be told, like at the price point, I don't care. Am I willing to pass up 20 ratcheting wrenches for $189? Because they're chrome and not matte chrome? No, I am not. So, like I said, this ship has sadly sailed, but you can cash in on those deals I mentioned. Again, I have everything linked down below for you, and I think you are going to enjoy. The other thing that Andrew told me is one of the reasons they were doing this is just because these take up a lot of space. They're big, they're heavy. The warehouse, it's easier to liquidate than it is to build a bigger warehouse. But right here, this confirms it. Not lying to you. It is the 20-piece ratcheting wrench set, quarter through 1 1/2. The item number 30385. Currently, I don't think this is available on the site. I don't know if, I kind of think they built these special. Just they kind of said like, hey, we've got all this stuff, because like I said, typically when you get past 3/4, 7/8, 15, 16, 1 inch, that's when people rarely sell like a set. It's usually kind of a, hey, if you need this, you're just going to buy the size that you want or need. So I have not opened this, obviously. We just cut it. I'm thinking they come loose. It looks like that's the case. If this came with a rack, that would have just been absurd. So I have no complaints there. And good grief. Like, if you doubted me, if you thought, man, this guy's full of it, nobody's going to sell 20 ratcheting wrenches for $190. Here's your proof, right? And yes, I paid for this. I ordered it. This was not, nothing was free. Nothing was sent out. I had the experience with the metric set. And I thought to myself, man, that's too good of a deal to pass up. It's like 90% off. You're saving crud tons of money. If you want proof, take the $189, give yourself credit, bump it up to $200, and go see what you can convert that to in whatever brand you want of ratcheting wrenches. And it's not going to stretch your dollar very far. You're certainly not going to go from 1/4 to 1.5 inches. So good freaking Lord. That's just sweet. All right, here, man, this thing is epic. So happy I pulled the trigger on this. Like I said, I like to think I'm special, but really I'm not. I'm just like a regular person, and I just happen to be subscribed to the Wiha newsletter, so that's literally how I came across this, how I learned of it. And that rubber band was tough to cut. Not something I typically cut, I suppose. I'm just going to go right here to the big one. If you're sitting there and you're thinking like, man, 1.5 inches, that's going to be junk. It's not going to look good. It's going to be a piece. Oh no, that thing is legit. Like, you're looking at this is a 3x3 weld up building. You're looking at my ceiling. You're looking at the camera. If we tilt it, you're looking at the pack. This is legit chrome. This is not like skimped. This is not junk. That's greasy from my hands. Are you ready for this? This is not like a low tooth count. This is 72 tooth. It's just giant. So this is a deal. If I bust this out and I go do something stupid with it, everything from Wiha's got the Wiha no hassle guarantee. So you should be home free on that front. Again, the metrics I've had for quite some time. I've not broken anything. For what it's worth, I don't typically abuse tools I care about. I use like the cheap ones for that. So I've not done anything to intentionally break something to test the warranty, but I've had good stories from other people. So I guess what I'll do is get these like out of the bag. I won't make you sit here for it, but we will get these unboxed and I will set them down on the mat and we'll try to get like a comprehensive look at these suckers. But what I want to do for you now is give you some more good news, okay? If you come in and you buy, let's say that you just go with the 10-piece SAE for $159. Well, guess what? If you spend over $150, you get the Wiha 6-in-1 for free. That's right. And if you're thinking like, oh, okay, well, you know, what's the deal there? Well, this is an American-made product, engineered in the Black Forest, made in America, up in Minnesota. This one's a little fuzzy. Obviously, it got crushed. This is like a 23-pound wrench set, maybe more. But this is just a 6-in-1 driver, and it's free, so you can't really argue about it, right? We come in, if you don't remember from this, we've got a number 1 and a number 2. I believe it's 1/4 and 5/16 are your nut drivers, and then you've got 2 slotted. So retail on that, again, is about $15 if you were to just come in and buy that separately. And I tell you what, getting $15 tacked on is not that bad of a situation to find yourself. So right here, classic Wiha. Again, if you don't know, that's why I showcase it. You typically have the year of manufacture and then made in Germany. In this case, made in the USA. Probably, I'd say 2020, 21, some possibly even this year. But that is free. That is 100% free. Now, if we come in and you're thinking like, hey, wait, you know, that SAE stuff, I don't need it, I don't want it, I don't care about it. I'm a metric guy. I want that 13-piece set, but you said it was like $140, right? Well, that is correct, $139. So you would be $10 shy of getting the free $15 6-in-1. So what I'm going to do is throw down right here a solution for you. This is something literally, I bought this on this same order, and I was hoping it was the updated design, and it is, but this is Wiha's part number 28102. This is 1287. You put this tool on with your 18 to 30 millimeter metric wrench set, you've exceeded the $150 threshold, and you get this for free. You're welcome. Once again, I don't see a dime if you buy a wrench set, if you buy 2 wrench sets, if you buy 12 of them for work, if you buy 17, I don't get anything. I literally am just telling you this, trying to help you out. And yes, there are still people that try to do that. So, case in point, if you were getting the big 18 to 30 and you tack on that little wrench set I have for $241, you would get this, but then you would also, in addition to the 6-in-1, you would get a pair of insulated pliers when you hit the $250 threshold. If you're wanting to do that and you don't need screwdrivers, or you don't want to try Wiha screwdrivers, I would recommend you do so. Just pick your most frequently used size. This is an item of interest. This is the Wiha BiCuts. I think a lot of people are still unaware that these exist. They're classic finish handles. I actually love them. They're a little bit thicker, feel a little better on my hands, but these, of course, if you don't understand, there's the power button there. They'll basically cut through chain. They're like the super powerful side cutters, if you will, from Wiha. Those would cover you about $30, $35, somewhere in there. And then if you're looking for a pair of pliers, this is an unsung hero, in my opinion. I want to say these are like 35 or 40 as well. They're not going to look near as cool. I'll admit it. They don't have the better handles. They don't have a lot going for them. And you kind of think, oh, it's gimmicky, I'm not going to like it. I use these all the time. This is something like when I brought in a bunch of Wiha pliers, I ran with their kind of pliers wrench clones. We ran with their like water pump pliers, the box joint pliers, and I figured this would be what I would like seldom, if ever, use. This was a part of a 2-piece set, if I remember correctly, by the way, and I was kind of interested in the other item in the set. These get used all the time, and what's wonderful about them, they're spring-loaded. This collar locks, right? So good for storage in your toolbox, but it's also good for this. This right here is an insane jaw opening. It's spring-loaded, and what do I use this for? Hose clamps. It's amazing for hose clamps. My little channel locks that they don't make anymore, those are really good for like fuel lines, you know, 5/8, 3/4 hose, stuff like that. They don't really work well on jumbo stuff. You can make them, you know, they're slip joints, so they spread a little bit. Anytime I'm dealing with like 2-inch, 2.5-inch clamps, these suckers come out. You've seen them again in the Ram Revival. Again, they're not super impressive looking. You just have to trust and believe at this point in time. And again, I'm telling you that why. So if you come in and you spend the money and you're like, man, I'm sitting here just shy of getting something free, these are 2 items you can tack on, bump it up quite a bit. This is an item, $12, $13, that will also generate you some freebies. So I'm going to can it. I'm going to get all of these 20 ratcheting wrenches out of this box, lay them out, get us a good visual of them, and we will wrap this thing up. Well, I kind of did it. I kind of got everything in frame there. So we got to come down, not that far down, just take this all in. So again, this is 1/4 through 1 1/2 inch ratcheting wrenches for $189. Again, ridiculous. That's less than $10. Basically, this wrench here would cost more than the entire set. So I'm thrilled with the purchase. I've not seen anything wrong. The chrome looks great on them. The ratcheting mechanisms that I've tested seem to work. Open ends looked good. It's just one of those stupid, amazing good deals, and I hope some of you were able to get in on it. Now, coming in real quick, just to highlight a wrench, let's go, do we want big or just good enough to see? I guess we'll go 9/16, right? I do lots of 3/8 stuff. So basically, if I get this to where you can kind of see it, which is super hard to do, we've got size stamping here. We've got the Wiha branding here. Got the size stamping over here. Cool thing Wiha does, you've got the size stamping on both sides, on basically all 4 corners, if you will, front or back. Sometimes you get a wrench and it's like 9/16 and it's not stamped on the boxed end, or it's stamped on the open end here and the box end here. It's nice to have it all 4 locations. That way if you store it, you flip it, whatever, you're covered, you can see the size. Opposite of the Wiha branding though, you have 30331. And what is that? You think, man, that's ugly, that ruins my wrench. Well, let's come in and see. Can I fish out? We'll just grab 7/16. We'll pretend we're doing some battery stuff. You see 30327. So there's like 4 jumps there, 27 to 31, right? What is that? If, let's say that you use the 9/16 all the time on your 3H drive hardware, if you snap this, if you break the mechanism, that gives you a part number. You send it in, you email Wiha, home free with the no hassle guarantee. But that's what that is. So that's also a nice touch should you ever need it. Or if it's a situation where you say, know exactly what sizes you use. You use 1/4 hardware, 5/16, 3/8, you use half, you use 5/8, 3/4, and then insert some jumbo size. If you got these on like a whim or just to try out, or you pick up like the big 13/16 inch and a half that's left and you actually like these and you think, man, I don't really want to spend $200 on the set, step back and say, hey, you know, I would use 9/16, 7/16, I would use 3/4, I would use those 3 all the time. Buy those, you know, take it from that side of things. But the setup here, gotta shut off the Pearl Jam ringtone there so we don't get demonetized. But the setup there is simply going to be, kind of lost my train of thought now, 72 tooth, so you have a 5-degree swing arc. Again, obviously we have 0 seat time with these SAE wrenches, but the ones right here we've had several years and I've had no issues with them, and I will say they are my main use ratcheting wrenches from the metric side. So I do love my little low tooth count Ghidorah with the switch, but these pretty much turn everything that doesn't, and I only have a 13 millimeters. So with that said, this is what is going on. Again, this deal that I got in on is gone. I hope some of you saw that email and cashed in. I don't know how many sets were available. I think they also had a really big metric one. I could be mistaken, but what is currently available that you can still get in on, it's going to be part number 30384, 13/16 to 1.5 inch. That's basically like the jumbo wrenches you see here for $159. You're saving yourself $1,426. Similarly, the 13-piece metric, 18 to 30 millimeter for $140. I'll have all that linked for you as best I can, probably up at the top, again, for your convenience. I also use timestamps, so if you're just here and you don't care about sales or promos, you're set, but you wanted to see these 20 come out of the box, again, I do all the timestamps, take that extra time, just for your viewing convenience. So with that said, I am stoked I bought these, because this, like, seeing it all out here, and I mean just the sheer size of the 1.5 inch is nothing short of amazing in my opinion. So I'm absolutely thrilled. Note that one does have the Wiha stamping, but I mean, look, this is an 1.5 inch, and you're looking at like all my Mopar signs and artwork there on the wall. So I got nothing bad to say. I'm super geeked about this. And I'm going to tell you right now, we've got a little bit of a segue. We've got 20 ratcheting SAE wrenches. They take up a lot of space. Some are heavy, some are light, various sizes. We're going to need a good way to store them, aren't we? Well, step ahead of you there. That's going to be in next Wednesday's video. So we got this one sort of interrupting our, tool organization, tool sorting flow. But I'm doing that because fewer than 100 of each set is available. I want you to get in on this if you want in on it. And you will have next Wednesday to look forward to see what I do with all 20 of these to actually kind of get them sorted and organized and somewhat functional in our toolboxes. So stay tuned for that one. Again, I'll have it all linked down below. If you've got experience with Wiha's ratcheting wrenches, feel free to tell people, good or bad. If you prefer the chrome or the matte, that's another reason. Some of you might hate matte chrome. And if you're in need of the ratcheting wrenches, these are the chromes. They're currently on the big liquidation. I mean, that is a huge discount. And once again, the only thing changing is they're going from chrome to matte chrome. So that's it. It's not like they're upgrading, like 92th, or they've redesigned the pawls, or the open end is getting, grip sections. It's going to be the exact same wrenches, just in matte finish. So you can rest your mind on that one. Again, I did double check before I recorded this video for you. But with that said, I think I've got to go build something for my nephew, and so I probably need to return this call. And there was tons of texts I've kind of not looked at either, so I'm gonna do that. But man, what a Saturday! So I'm gonna come in. If I get back decent enough time tonight, I'll run out here, get my storage and sorting thing going for this. And I'm telling you right now, I've got some other super cool videos coming up because I'm looking at the stuff on the floor beside this bench. So you'll want to stick around, but hopefully you enjoyed this video. More importantly, I hope you cash in on it. Whether you already bought a jumbo set or you're going to get one of those 2 remaining sets. But again, don't know the exact quantities. I was just told they have fewer than 100. So my advice is move forward and do so quickly. Basically when you see this video, I would probably pull the trigger as soon as you possibly can, if it's something you're interested in. But with that said, I'll quit rambling. I guess I got to go do some family stuff here or something. So make that a priority. It's just I was kind of flowing here, so gotta wrap it up. But with that said, thanks so much for watching. LoneStarMopars.com is the website. You can find us Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all 3 at Lone Star Mopars. With that said, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you cash in. Have a fantastic Wiha Wednesday, and if you pull the trigger, you might be having yourself a fantastic Wiha weekend too. So once again, thanks for watching. I'll catch you back here Saturday and then next Wednesday when you're going to see what we do to store all these.